Hello everyone, so today I want to go over an anterior tilted scapula. Now, it's hard to say if this is always going to give you an issue, because it might not. It's not really a dysfunction, because most of the time, in most cases I've seen and most clinics see, you will see a non-dysfunctional, anatomical variance in this area where there is some sort of tilt in the scapula, and it probably won't cause any pain. But if it does, and for those of you who are curious to what might be contributing to this, this is what this video is for. So, that being said, one muscle we can look at when looking at an anterior tilted scapula, or one that is kind of, I can give you a visual right here. This is the scapula, it's normal and kind of vertical to the ground. If it is anteriorly tilted, it is going to ride up over here, with the bottom sticking out and rotating out. So, while we can look at the serratus anterior and rhomboids, or the rhomboid serratus sling, that whole kind of muscular connection and fascial, connection once again, I want to kind of, specify just one thing today, being that I've gone over the rhombo serratus sling in the past. So, that being said, the pec minor is a large contributor to this, dysfunction or issue that people seem to have once in a while. So, what causes this? Well, besides the muscle, it's usually from your daily activities. If someone is constantly at a desk all day or hunched over, reading or doing work, that is what can contribute to it. But the muscle that we're looking at today that is chronically attached to this kind of issue that we see in people is the pec minor, that attaches, and this is why it gives you an issue, it is attached to the coracoid process, which is the top small dot-like part of the scapula. Now, if this muscle is tight, being that it's connected to ribs number 3, 4, and 5, it is going to pull that scapula into an anterior tilted position. Now, does this happen all the time? No. This does not just happen when you have a desk job. This is something that occurs gradually over time. It is very progressive, and by very progressive, I don't mean it just happens once again overnight. It may take months or years to actually develop into something that is an actual dysfunction. But when we're looking at this scapula is normal. Let's say for visual sake, it's shitty, but this is life, it's all I have. Normal kind of vertical placement of the scapula with a normal anatomical curvature. It eventually can go into this, where the scapula is riding higher and kind of tilted forward with the back rotated out. The bottom rotated out. So, what happens? The pec minor curls that down, brings it down, and what happens is people who have this are usually, don't have the greatest posture. They're kind of stuck over like this, with all these muscles in here chronically tight or hypertonic. That includes the pec major. But one muscle that, since it attaches to the scapula, the pec minor is a large player in this, issue. So, most of the time we see people who, want to just roll it out, and while that is, a good strategy to a point, it's not permanent. It's not a permanent change. It won't influence your biomechanics, permanently. What you want to do is influence your body by making a change in environment and giving yourself better input in how you move. So if we're looking at upward rotation, downward rotation, the pec minor does downward rotation of the scapula. So, I know you're like, oh, then I should practice, doing downward rotation with bands and weights and all that shit. But truth is, your body wants to move in different ranges of motion, and just doing strength exercises where we're going down isn't going to give us the best, outcome. It might help you. There's a lot of things that might help you. This, a program for this, or a process is very individualistic. This is just Instagram. Me going over this, shouldn't tell you guys, oh my God, I need to do this to fix this. There's a process, there's a time and place for every exercise, and while I'd love to go through each of these exercises, it's extremely context heavy and needs to be taken with a grain of salt per person, because it may not work for someone. And with every Instagram post that's ever put up by every physical therapist, chiropractor, or personal trainer, or massage therapist, there needs to be an understanding that context is key, and individualism per exercise is even more of a huge factor when looking at these videos. So with this, go find a provider, healthcare provider that will at least see some imaging, or see how you react to different ranges of motion, to active range of motion, to passive range of motion, to active assisted range of motion. There's a lot of assessments that need to be done before you're even diagnosed with this, or even give it an actual plan, because most of the time, once again, this is not a real dysfunction. It will not give you an issue. But once you lack range of motion, once you have pain or tightness, or it annoys you, then we need to kind of start saying, all right, what can we do to fix this? And that's where multiple different things coming in, from massage to isometrics to practicing different overhead ranges of motion and rotation, and practicing things in upward rotation, downward rotation, and making sure other things aren't, weak and tight, and making sure the nervous system feels safe enough to allow permanent change in the body. So, my 2 cents on that. Have a great day.